Infrastructure. Infrastructure is important. It's what makes cities function. It's what they run on. But it seems that the Philippines is lacking in that aspect as well. The recent issues when it comes to infrastructure are very apparent, especially after the flood control project scandals that highlighted the incompetency of the government, the collapsing roads and bridges due to unusable or idle or regional public works that simply stand around. It's not because of China that our economy is dying, not because of viruses, but the lack of infrastructure is strangling our tiger nation. An estimated total of over 64.5 billion pesos are lost yearly. According to the Commission of Audits, due to the unusable, idle, or physically failing regional public works, local contractors frequently cut corners, using cheaper materials, using fast and quick methods not meant for long-term reliability, which causes rapid structural degradation. Notable examples of these were the abandoned bridges of Pilar, Siargao. The Maasin Bridge and Asinan Bridge were labeled as completed as back as 2022. Physical evidence shows that builders abandoned the sites, leaving major bridges completely unfinished and unusable by local residents. The funds given by the government were only used for their own personal benefit. And I doubt that the government did not know this. They definitely did, and were just paid to simply ignore it. Another example was when COA flagged the delayed PNP projects worth 2 billion pesos. So much tax money going to useless projects that the public cannot benefit on. The government is one part to blame because of one key law. Republic Act No. 9184, Section 34, Objective and Process of Post-Qualification, the statutory basis for the lowest calculated responsive bid, or LCRB. Post-qualification is a stage where the bidder with the lowest calculated bid, in the case of goods and infrastructure projects, or the highest rated bid, in the case of consulting services, undergoes verification and validation whether he has passed all the requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents. If the bidder with the lowest calculated bid or highest rated bid passes all of the criteria for post-qualification, his bid shall be considered the lowest calculated responsive bid in the case of goods and infrastructure projects, or the highest rated responsive bid in the case of consulting services. It essentially states whoever bids the lowest could gain the contract after verifying they can actually deliver, but it just doesn't work. Because of this law and how low the bid can go, the companies could simply just pay off these very same verifiers and they just simply gain the money back by getting this contract. In other words, it's still riddled with corruption. It's only worsened as the system is only a recipe for disaster, as loopholes are found, especially with the rampant corruption within the lower branches, that would allow so much pocketed funds that would essentially outweigh the actual money that goes into the project. Notice whenever a foreign company, whenever gets the bid, it fulfills and lasts. A notable example is when Japanese companies enter the race. This gives a situation where the government will find little to no wiggle room to actually be corrupt in the face of the Japanese contractors. Now let's look on to local contractors. Whenever they do something, there's always something missing, something broken, or something forgotten. So many projects I've noticed just have rebar or concrete lying around, and some simply have cracks or holes in their constructs. Filipino mindset of always finding a cheap way may be useful in the short term, but in the long term, it only causes more headaches. This correlates to the Filipino behavior of bahala na si Batman, or in English, leave it up to Batman, which is such a negative way of thinking. Instead of fixing it now, you leave it to the future to fix it. What if it only causes more problems? What if you leave a crack on a building and it comes crumbling down the next day when an unexpected tremor happens? Would you go to court and say that Batman did it? No. That's what baffles me, is the Filipino mindset of always leaving it for later rather than finishing it today. I myself am no different, but we need to change this mindset. From our own roads, to government policies, to education. We need to grow this addressing issue as well. That literacy rates are dropping. Additionally, the job market is shrinking, which would only emphasize the worsening situation of the nation. Every issue I've cited is also related to a social construct or tradition. When the Japanese companies do something, they plan to finish it and make sure it does not fail, efficient and productive. But they also overburden themselves with work that it's almost counterproductive. That's how their culture simply is built. Chinese companies have always been innovative, even during the Qing dynasty. But they're also fiercely competitive and incredibly cheap to the fact that they also do substandard rulings. But that is rather a design philosophy as well as another fact of their ideology. And when it comes to Filipino companies, they live it up to the future, or more often than not, do not commit fully and leave it to the next person, truly highlighting the meaning of bahala na si Batman. Or they even buy something that's not up to quality, citing that it's okay na, or it's fine even if it's rusting and crumbling. Sure, given the fact that even long before, Filipinos were deemed lazy by the Spaniards. But that was because of how much the heat affected us, and how we would rather work early in the day, oftentimes at 3 a.m., to finish our work. But now today, we can't even bear ourselves to wake up at 2 a.m. What if these small issues would cause bigger problems, or worse, get someone killed? It's the adamant unrealism of Filipinos, that often careless attitude, that gets people killed. One ever case of this that was so deadly was the structure in Angeles City, which has recently happened in 2026. Construction since 2020 and was in its finishing stages, reportedly housed 30 to 40 construction workers sleeping inside at the time of the incident. It also damaged a nearby apartheid. 30 people were killed and 8 others were injured. Because of this slight incompetence and insolence, did we only ever cause more death and more problems to worry about in the future? That's what I'm trying to highlight in this bahala na si Batman, or low effort activities. I myself am no exception, as I said earlier. I've done the very same, especially when it comes to school projects. But when the fact is, when it comes down to saving lives, it needs to be more apparent that you need to take it seriously. The dead people that would be caused by your negligence, because of the fact that you wanted to finish work early, only would cause so much more death. Imagine if this were to happen on an 80-story building. What would happen then? The constant need for substandard effort would only get us so far that it leaves so much to be desired. I see this in school today whenever there's a project, an exam, a test, a quiz. We often cite na bahala na si Batman. It's intertwined with our social construct of leaving it up to our future selves. But even in relationships, I've seen this. People just not talking to each other, not communicating, because they leave it up to Batman. And there's so many more examples, so many more deaths that were correlated to this. Not just construction, but also the design of specific things. Other fact is that when Filipinos refuse to use architects when constructing buildings, or even not hiring engineers to make up for that building, only causes more issues. I've seen this in a recent Reddit post that Filipinos refuse to use architects, and they're so proud that they do it DIY, yet it's so lackluster. Those buildings that were made out of DIY lack the proper vents, proper ventilation, and they don't even have the proper removal of water. That makes it so baffling to me that the Filipino need for making everything cheap will only cause so much more disaster. And I know I'm just throwing around the word death so much in disaster and problems and issues, but this is reality, and we can't deny that. If we leave so much tasks up to our future selves, what would happen then if our current selves would have a building collapsed onto them? Think about it like this. Would you rather save money today and then cause a disastrous problem in the future that you have to pay all of it in the end? Or pay up now and then avoid that problem in the future? The Philippines is often called as the rising tiger of Asia, but I don't see it the same way today. The projects that were meant to inspire and aspire Filipinos and rise us up out of poverty, out of being a third world nation, have just stagnated. More or less, I'm seeing of a dying tiger cub. We're only doing this to ourselves. And if we don't try to find a problem or solution to this, I can only wish for so much more to happen. But wishes can only get us so far. So that's why I'm telling you all this story. Just so we can move and act. The young today just constantly try to delusion themselves with love. But they don't sometimes face the reality of life. So that's why here I am conversing it to other people. And it baffles me that so little people would look to this and say like, I need to fix this. I'd rather leave it up to the next generation.